So for the category of space margins, so the B column, we've got B1, lane position. So to be successful, choose the appropriate, legal, and safe lane position that also provides good visibility and ensures safe space margins. So long story short, they want to make sure you're not hugging one side of your lane more than the other. Stay centered in your lane when conditions allow. It is something the examiner pays close attention to. B2, following distance. Maintain a safe following distance between your vehicle and the vehicle in front of you. So are you following too close? You don't want to be in a situation where if the car in front of you slams on their brakes, you have to do the same thing right away to prevent a collision. But unfortunately, if we follow too close and then we suddenly slam on our brakes, possibly we might get rear-ended from behind. So following distance is really important. B3, so stops too close, too far. So leave an appropriate distance between your vehicle and any stopped vehicle in front of you. So we don't want to be so far back where it's kind of awkward. We're not sure, people are not sure why you're holding this far back, but you also don't want to be right up against their bumper. So generally speaking, you want to see their rear tires touching the ground and about half a meter of ground below the rear tires. B4, gap. So choose an appropriate space in traffic that doesn't cause other road users to adjust speed and or road position. Take safe gaps when traffic permits and when legally permitted. So for example, coming up to make a left turn at an intersection, we have to make sure that the gap that we're taking is not a short gap, right? So if the cars are too close to the oncoming traffic is too close to the intersection, we don't want to try to quickly make a turn and cut them off in such a way that they need to cover the brake or slow down or try to avoid a collision with us. On the other side, if we're not taking a safe gap, so for example, there's the nice gap from the oncoming traffic, and we're not making the turn, we're not completing a left turn, then the car behind us is kind of like, well, why aren't you taking that gap? It was a safe gap, right? So within reason, we want to make sure that we're taking safe gaps. We don't want to take short gaps, and we don't want to miss long gaps. B5, so blocks crosswalk. So stop behind crosswalks to avoid blocking people from crossing. So this can be confusing at times. Students are like, well, I thought I can't go into a crosswalk. And there are certain times where we do want to go and occupy the crosswalk, but generally speaking, you don't want to be stopping somewhere where your car's overshot where you need to stop, and now you're blocking the crosswalk and you're not letting people cross. B6, turn position. Maintain a suitable lane position during your turn and end in the correct lane. Do not turn wide or cut the corner. So for example, when you're going into a right turn, we can't borrow any of the other lane next to us. So we want to go centered into our lane, and when we're making a left turn, we can't clip the turn at the center divide line as we're making that turn. B7, occupied crosswalk. So stop the vehicle before entering an occupied crosswalk. So for example, what we see sometimes on the road, unfortunately, is as people come up to make a right turn, there's a pedestrian walking towards their car. They've already entered into the crosswalk and they're getting cut off. So what I mean by this is they're coming up into make a right turn here, and there's a person walking this way, and this guy is coming up to make a right turn, and they make the turn and cut the pedestrian off. So this is not accepted. We also have maneuver location, so B8. When changing lanes, turning, stopping, or parking, ensure your vehicle is at a location safe for yourself and other road users. Complete the maneuver in a safe location. So use your judgment as to, where can I park? I don't want to park somewhere where I'm blocking someone's driveway. I don't want to leave my car there. And am I doing this maneuver in a correct place, right? So I don't want to start a maneuver like a 3-point turn in the middle of the road when it's not a good time to be performing that maneuver. B9, so other, it says this is for any other space margin errors not listed in this section. I rarely see B9, if ever. B10, stop position. So you must stop the correct distance from the legal stop position. Refer to stopping at intersections in the Learn to Drive Smart Guide for more detail. Long story short, don't stop on top of the stop line, and you need to know where the correct stopping position is if there's no stop line. So we talk about that in this course as well. B11, road position, parking lot. So when driving in a parking lot, position your vehicle to ensure it's visible, obey signs posted, instructions, and provide room for other road users, right? So am I positioned correctly in a parking lot, or am I just kind of saying, well, it's a free-for-all, I'm in a parking lot, so it doesn't matter? B12, three-point turn, U-turn for motorcycle. You must effectively and safely complete a three-point turn, U-turn for motorcycles. Refer to the Learn to Drive Smart or Learn to Ride Smart guide. So we talk about this in the course as well, just making sure you perform that three-point turn correctly. B13, parking margins. When parking, leave adequate space for other vehicles and objects. Park close to the curb, do not cover pavement markings, and ensure you're obeying regulations, right? So making sure that you're not hitting the curb as you're parking, or parking on the curb. So you don't want to park making sure you're parking close to the curb, but don't go on the curb or the curb markings. And B14, so railroad crossing for the motorcycle. Cross train tracks at safe angle to prevent your tires from getting caught in the tracks. So as far as we're concerned, because I'm licensed to teach the practical section of the class 7, class 5, this doesn't pertain to my students, but if you're a motorcyclist, then this is something you also have to pay attention to. So we'll stop here before we go into section C.